What we do over here is Greg with mappingyourmarketing.com. And it's difficult to know where to start with all these options of being online, marketing your company. Well, we help you with proven strategies and techniques to leverage just top powerful forces online, videos, reviews, SEO to grow their business. And then here in Tech Corner, we've taught about that. We taught about reputation. We taught about video. And then this year, we're talking about AI. Undeniable. You're going to get left in the dust. AI is not going to take your job, but somebody who knows AI is going to take your job. So we're on this multi-part series of all kinds of amazing things. And today, this is a super important part of any marketing, is creating your buyer persona. You could call this an avatar, all kinds of different things. But if you're not saying the right things to the right people, it's not going to resonate. And you're not going to be able to recognize the growth that you need for yourself. So come on down and we'll show you how to put AI to use to help make everything you do get a little better. Do we assume that you guys are both using ChatGPT?
Somewhat.
Yes? Somewhat.
I just started.
Oh boy, you are going to love today. Because do you know about the most excellent plugin that makes it better and makes you a pro right away?
That's why I'm on this call.
Oh my goodness.
I'm a sponge.
Okay. Well, let me jump in and share my screen. All right, you guys can see that, right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So,
and Greg, this is going to be recorded later, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm recording right now, and I have to tell you these stories, but I'm probably the best one about actually making mine into videos and getting them up on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So I will and I often will do a follow-up email to the people in my room, right?
Sweet.
So
because I'm thinking it's going to be great, and then I'm also going to want to go back and have it by my side when I'm trying to do things.
You are, and thank you. I appreciate that. So we're in here. I'm actually on a paid version, but this thing will work on the free version, right? So you can tell, like, because I got 4, GPT plus. I'm still not running the paid version. And there's the magic that you want to know, John, is this AIPRM. It's a Chrome extension.
Yep.
And so what you usually see is a blank screen and only this bottom part, right?
Yeah, I think so, right.
Yeah, yep. And so all of a sudden, so we do this semi-review for the people that are watching the recording as much, anything, right? So this is content for me going forward. And instead of just...
How do I navigate to the AIPRM ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Oh, so I have to AIPRM.
Okay. Yeah, and so I don't want that. Chrome extension.
Got it.
So you're looking for something like that. And this is perfect, man. This is great. It's all going to be in the recording here. And so what happens is, we know, like, I've been an IT guy for decades, and there's always the saying, everybody knows garbage in, garbage out. Well, it was never truer than in ChatGPT, right? Because you feed it something and then it gives them back, right? So what you ask is called a prompt, and the better that you ask is the better output you get. And so there are people selling this all the time. JV Warrior Forum, we're selling prompts. I know my buddy just bought one. He bought $500 package. It had 7 modules. Each one, I think, only came with 4 prompts, $500. Now there's all done for you. And I'm like, he's like, are you going to buy that? I'm like, I don't think so, because I have AIPRM, right? and it's has 4,000 prompts in here. When I started teaching this in January, it had like 400. Now, are they all the best ever? No. And so it comes defaulted sorting by these top votes. And a little secret, my ongoing series is going through some of these top rated ones, right? You know, so we did writing an article. Well, this has like,
Greg,
yeah,
sorry, can I just, so, you know, I'm sitting in the back of the classroom here at the remedial table. I just want to understand, you get this, this dashboard as soon as you load in the Chrome extension
Yeah.
for AIPRM, this
right.
automatically appears once you download that.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a print screen. So just, yeah, this from here down, right,
Yep.
is what you get, and it pops up, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, you just see this. Here's a new thing too. This come in recent days. So they have a cap, right? Even on a paid version of the volume you can search.
So you can only send 50 prompts per 3 hour.
Yeah,
period.
that's what I'm hearing. So here's the beauty. So a lot of times if you're doing it on your own, you ask it like something and you go, oh, that's good. Now add this to it, or say it in a different way, or turn it into a table. And all those is clicking through your count, right? And it's still hard to get to 50. But what happens is when you use these turnkey ones, you're getting the whole amazing gamut of detailed things. So like say this one right here, like write an article. So it'll do an article with a meta description, with a title, with headings, with proper H tags, up to 2,000 words, with a frequently asked questions sections and a conclusion. You have to remember all that when you told it to write an article, right? Now, what you get to leverage here is, you know, that's like almost 2 million views, you know, um, tons of comments, you know, all these upvotes, right? So this is, you're not you're like finding a new one that somebody just threw up here, right? This is proven and tested, and so that's what we're doing. So we'll go in here to this one. This is today's thing, which is super solid. I know, I know you're in sales, and we had a one-on-one yesterday. Like, you gotta know who your customer is. You know, like what keeps them up at night. We psychographic more than demographic. So, it's great to have you, and I know you're skilled in the art too, Ruben. I loved your thing on LinkedIn with the failure to follow up. I send it to myself, and I'm going to tag you for a one-on-one too. And so,
let me again, if I could just interrupt for a second. So
go ahead. This is interactive, man. It's not a lecture.
Yeah, you pick your buyer persona legend just as an example. So Ruben and I are, you know, new to this. We downloaded the Chrome extension, and we both click on this this prompt, let's say at the same time or near the same time. Do we get the same output?
Well, no. So what happens is, again, this is the input. So right here, and we could do one of you guys if you want, or I'll do one for me. So basically the only fuel that you need, right? Let's compare and contrast. We'll come back to this one. So let's say, you know, we wanted, you know, this book. All you have to do is put in the topic of the book, right? Say you wanted this article. It just talks about whatever keyword or the title of the article. So you don't get the same one because you're probably not putting the same thing in here.
Yeah.
You know, so
so the prompts are starting.
Yeah, we're gonna do one. I'll just do one. Say I'll do one. So reputation marketing is one of my keywords. It's one of my core four. You know, like if you don't have your reputation dialed up, and then they don't even call you. You lost in search. You didn't get chosen, right? So I want to find out something about this. And we'll
Greg,
have
can I be
time.
a party pooper for a second?
Yeah.
So I was installing the AI PRM thing, and then it's like, okay, now you need to create an AI PRM account and you need to give us access to all your Google data. How do you feel about that?
Well, I don't know that I have heard that version of it. Are you on the paid or the free one?
Well, all I did was sign up for. I installed the whatchamacallit, and maybe I
Okay.
can. And maybe I don't have to do that. Maybe I don't. Oh, you know what happened? So when I first installed it, it put up a prompt saying, now you need to set up your AI PRM account. And then it's like, we want permission to slurp all your data out of Google. Then I went back to OpenAI's chat thing, and I have all those prompts you have. So never mind.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I would table that. And and I don't know what you're seeing. And I've heard this before. It's like, oh, they want my birthday. And I'm like, I don't like
Yes, they ask for that. That you can
so
deny, but the other stuff you can't
yeah.
deny.
Okay.
It's
Interesting.
weird.
And I didn't do it. I've been blessed. We brought on we're onboarding clients since the last tech corner, which is a priority, obviously. And so I'm going to actually go get even the paid version, so like I can handle these things when they come along. In tech corner, you guys may know that we really teach from a perspective of giving, which we do in all of our business, which is why we're even here. But we also talk about free solutions in the world. So free ChatGPT, free AIPRM, but it's part of my charge also to see how it works on the elevated levels, which is why I share like I'm in the paid version here. So on the 4, which gets better answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's good because we let this generate while we were chatting, right? And so with 2 words and the magic buyer persona prompt, and of course, these guys getting their branding in here, right? And you could go out and you can find other ones like from this particular company or whatever. So I want to go through it, but I also want some feedback because here's another best practice. Like you do not just trust and copy and paste what's in here, right? You've got to
Right.
scrutinize it. And I'm glad to have, a couple of guys that are skilled in the art. And like you would have had to say, like, oh, make demographics in a table, right? Or make all these tables. So here's some of the ideas that it's doing. And so, and I even said this, psychographics is more important to me sometimes than demographics, but this is what it thinks, is somebody who'd be a good target for this one. We'll do one that you guys are familiar with, right? As a kind of an acid test. But, making good money, small business owner, it's a decent range, has a family. These are some of the ones that we like what are his challenges, right? And we say this all the time, are you staying on top of marketing trends, right? He wants to grow his business with a deeper reason of, having a better life, right? He's already kind of probably interested in some of the things that we're talking about. Needs to grow and maintain his online presence. Wants to have a bigger brand. Those are not bad things in my mind as far as what this guy's thinking of. Shopping behaviors is not one that we always think about. Like if we do, there's lots of avatar worksheets in the world, shopping isn't on like what keeps them up at night or in some of them. So willing to invest, we like that. Shopping frequency, channel. So this isn't bad. And so I'm going to do one more thing that I always teach. So this side over here as a review or to share with the people in the room, this is your history. right? So my previous sessions, right? And here's the rub. It's not always here. Sometimes you come in here and it's not available. And we know that Murphy's Law can bite you in the butt. So I want to come in here, right? And I want to go, oh, what happened on that prompt when I did like my Google review appreciation wording? I need it right now. Oh, it's gone. So what does Greg say? Greg says, get yourself a document and go save off your data, right? So Google Docs, I use Word. And that way, if I need it, I can save it, right? Now, what I'm going to do next is while here. So what's a lot of times right in this little part of the world is you can have it regenerate, or some of these are super long. They might be generating screen after screen after screen. And so this choice might be like continue generating, right? And so I'm going to use this to say regenerate. And it's basically going to take that same input, right? And come up with it again. So let's see, last time it was a guy, this time it's a gal. They make a lot more money, still married with a couple kids. They live in Texas instead of Washington.
Now, why did it just create basically a whole different persona?
Well, I told it to regenerate. And so,
but that's a little concerning, right? You didn't say regenerate, but go up market. You didn't say regenerate with a woman.
yeah.
And so I'm like, I was like, wow,
I
that's amazing. But now I'm like, wait a second, it's giving me two different personae without me telling it to.
Well, and again, I would say my target market isn't senior care or male only products. So a male or female actually is a potential good target market, right? They're not poor, they're still a small business owner, right?
Yeah.
So in my lens is that's within tolerance, right?
Okay.
Because it could be, I would say, my age range would be super wide because you could have business owners, 18 to, 75, male or female, making money.
So how would you do this for your specific profile?
Not sure where you're going with.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is like, this is really cool, right? And again, it kind of feels like, hey, I've got a marketing intern, and you're like, hey, marketing intern, go come up with an ideal client profile. And they're like,
right.
They come back the next day, the next week, and they're like, it's, I can't remember the first one. It was like they make $80,000 and they live in Seattle or something. And you're like, well, do it again. And they come back and they say they're in Austin and they make low six figures, blah, 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 blah. And so this is helpful, but it's not like there's some other part of the process that I feel like I'm missing that would really like get this to refine to something where you're like, okay, that's it. Now let's go to town.
Yeah. And again, what happens is we end up stacking these things. Like you could say, okay, that's great. Now let's take these and synthesize them together, right? Or if we did another one over here, I'm going to jump to like we did a content calendar before. We would take this content calendar, which is fine by itself, but it's really fuel for the next step to put it to work, right? So I could take this, on Monday, we're going to write, an article with this title. I would go back to one of those other prompts and say, write an SEO optimized article and plug that in for the title. Does that make sense, or is that not answering the right question?
Not exactly, because I mean, I get how ChatGPT is great at saying, okay, now given that I have this, give me a content calendar or whatever. The
Right.
thing that I want and the thing that I want to enable my customers to do is really get that buyer persona nailed down, because that's the problem, right? And if they don't have that, then ChatGPTifying how they communicate with this wishy-washy persona
Right.
doesn't really help. It just makes it, there's more garbage going in and out. That's why I was very interested in, like, how can you take that initial assessment, or maybe take some initial thoughts that people have. They're like, well, I work with executives and sales teams and leaders and nonprofits and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, well, that's like all over the place. How do we use ChatGPT to help them narrow that down?
So Greg, and again, I'm not the expert here, but so I went through a similar exercise where I was trying to put a value proposition together for a client. And so I started off very generically, just general terms about the industry they're in. And then I didn't hit regenerate, but I put more specific directions in the prompt that you've got right there and hit go. And then it would generate a new output with more specific dialogue in it based on the new information that I put in. Now that doesn't happen automatically. You got to kind of think through it and
Right.
come up with what the right prompts are to kind of distill it down into more specific, tangible stuff. But that's what I was doing. Maybe that's not
That
right.
is super important. That's what the acronyms is continuing to refine it, right? I jumped over while you were answering to a different one, and I like how they do this, right? They ask for product, that helps with benefit, right? I only gave it 2 words, right? That was very demonstrable for like how cool the prompt is, but still garbage in, garbage out. And I think this is what you're saying, John, was like, give it again better information, right? And so this is a sample of like what that one does.
And that's where the human interaction comes in, which to me is refreshing because you've got
see.
You want some control over what's going on, right?
Yeah. So here's another one, right? Occupation. They're basically asking you for stuff. I don't know how great that one is. So yeah, we've got another 50 seconds. These all go so fast. So hopefully.
So just real quick from a navigation point of view. Okay, so on the left sidebar, you've got your history, and you mentioned that sometimes it disappears, blah, blah, blah.
Correct.
But if I'm sharing my screen with a potential client or a client, I just want to share what I'm doing with them. And
so like here, like you can close that.
Okay. But that closes the whole thing, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know how you can like squeeze. I don't think you can squeeze down a day. I would say if you're hiding, right, I would do that.
Okay.
There's another cool thing on here where you can like could go out and there used to be a way to share on there. I don't see that right now.
Greg, how'd your room go?
Oh, too short. It was great. ChatGPT was working, and we looked at even these turnkey prompts do better with more input. They try to make them for just like only put in one thing, but garbage in, garbage out, never been truer.